Gemini, welcome to your in-depth reading for yours and theirs. Before we get started, let's put down some ground rules. Yours and theirs is an energetic read between yourself and someone else and does not necessarily have to be about a spouse, significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, lover type situation. Again, it's whomever fits the dynamic as I'm describing it, so do keep in mind it could be about a family member or friend. It's up to you. So take what resonates, leave what does not. Reverse those energies as you see fit. These are general collective readings, not one-to-one private, which is to say it may not resonate. And as frustrating as it is, and it is, check your other placements. You will find yourself in there somewhere. Let's get cracking. What's going on, please? Show me Gemini and their person. Show me Gemini, please. Show me Gemini and their person. Show me Gemini and their person. What's going on, please, for Gemini? Everybody's showing me your power card, by the way. Everybody. Well, everybody. More than, say, 50% then. And a lot of it was underdeveloped, too. Underdeveloped lovers trying to make a comeback. That's like, okay. And I know what you're going to say. Well, we're in Mercury. There's always a Mercury something, honey. Always. We can't go a month without a Mercury being in this, that, and the other. People give that way too much. Way too much thought. And I think the more we think about Mercury and somebody potentially coming back, the odds of them doing that go way up. So it's kind of self-fulfilling prophecy in terms of negative reinforcement. As soon as we realize, oh my God, are we in a Mercury retrograde? The answer is probably yes. And then you start thinking about the X, and guess what happens? So we in fact reinforce our own cliches as human beings. Something to think about. I know you can handle that thought because you're Gemini. What's going on, please? Right? You get it? Right? See what I'm saying? What's going on? Anyway, that's my nonsense. But I was like, there's a reason why. It's all over everything on a social. Oh my God, Mercury this, Mercury that. There's always a Mercury. There's always a Mercury. And it's never the one you want. I want Freddie Mercury, but he has parted ways with us. You know? That's the only Mercury I'm interested in. It's Freddie Mercury from Queen. Man could sing. Okay. What's going on? What's going on, please? Show me Gemini and their person. In case you're new to the channel, hi, my name's Christina. I'm a little different. I can and will talk a lot of nonsense to my collectives. Absolutely. What's going on, please? We're going to start with your side of the board. But as I said in the intro, reverse those energies as you see fit. Four of Pentacles, King of Cups, the Seven of Wands. There's something in your heart you ain't having. You're like, no, thou shalt not pass. Four of Pentacles, King of Cups, Seven of Wands. You're like, I am not having it, whatever it is. Ooh, Four of Cups, Death, Three. Ooh. Where did one end and begin there? Whoa. Did you clamp down on your heart and said no? And they're like, okay, fine. And they effed off? Or is it because they effed off because they were so unhappy and you're like, well, good riddance to you. Oh my. I have to say, what you're showing me is healthy if this indeed is what I'm seeing. You're just being protective of your heart. Let's keep going though. The Moon, Six of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups. Okay. Two of Wands is in your overview decision making. We have a truth coming to light about a balance here, and the heart space is involved. What the truth is, we need to take a look at that. It does concern itself with the balance of the Six of Pentacles, and it's coming forward from someone's moon about the truth of this balance and how they quote-unquote feel about it. We need to take a look at that truth. You're starting out as someone who's operating already under a decision, Two of Wands. You have made up your mind about something, or you're about to. You're on the verge of it. Okay. This, I want to look at it, but I have a job to do. So that's Four Cups, Death, the Three of Swords now. We are very unhappy. Very. Enough so that it kind of killed the emotionality, and there's pain and rejection here. Either, again, you rejected this person and you refuse to let them in your heart anymore, or because they were so unhappy they exited, you're like, you know what? I'm going to make that official. You are no longer welcome in my heart space. So where one began or ended, I don't know. We need to clarify because that shared energy isn't so enlightening yet. I just know the truth of how someone really felt about the balance between you two finally came forward under the moon. Okay. It's going to be like that. It kind of has that vibe of tell me how you really feel. And someone did. Okay, so whatever was being hidden, the truth is now coming forward. In that respect, bravo. We cannot function when we put the truth of ourselves and our feelings under the moon. Because our functions, who we are as people, how we perceive ourselves, it all gets affected when we operate under secret or being less than aware. So their stuff so far is looking really straightforward, even if it's hurtful, authentic, and your reaction, I believe, stands the same. We want to work with truths, not non-truths, you understand? Okay. All right. Speaking of which, you're over here, Two of Wands, trying to understand something, to finalize a decision, to look at something critically. But you do want things to be clear, and we cannot make decisions for ourselves unless we're clear, which means we cannot afford confusion, the Two of Swords, and we cannot afford to dilly-dally with the Two of Pentacles. Two of Wands is active decision-making, so remember that. Two of Wands. Show me that Two of Wands, please. Show me that Two of Wands, please. Ten of Cups, the Hanged Man, the Seven of Wands. Ooh, yeah, you're kind of saying to somebody, I do not want you affecting my emotional wheelhouse anymore. So whatever that Ten of Cups is to you, this is our harmony, this is our rainbow. These are our emotional stakeholders, the people who we hold as a kind of place of honor with our everyday lives. So this is family, mom, dad, brother, sister, cousins. These are our good friends, that person we've known since college or blah, blah, blah. The people that we actually care about in our inner circle. You're saying, these are the people I can harmonize with. And after much due consideration with the Hanged Man, Seven of Wands, over here. You're saying someone is no longer welcome in your emotional circle. And that was with much consideration. And it's looking like you're finalizing the decision now as we speak. But it was over a lot of time. So you had a lot of time to contemplate this. Enough time anyway. Whatever a lot of time is to you. You're saying you thought about it enough. And you're finalizing the decision as we speak. You're going to kind of permanently blockade somebody from being part of your emotional circle anymore. You're on the verge of that decision. I want to see... You started withdrawing your emotional self from them already. I see that. And you are showing me a mature King of Cups, which means he has the responsibility of delegating those unfortunate tasks of understanding who is worthy of his love and who isn't. You know, and that's the part of maturity. Be you a pentacle, a sword, a fire, a cup. It doesn't matter. There are responsibilities on all of those elements. And his understanding literally how he really feels and owning it, you know? That's the uncomfortable side to the King and Queen of Cups. You know? Let me tell you what that kind of conversation looks like for people who need context. I love you because you're my whatever. I don't like you. I don't think you're a good person. That's hardcore stuff. Not everybody can handle it, which is why they often switch to sword mode, right? Intellectual, logical, rational. Pentacle, practicality, practical argument. Everyone loves a practical argument. Even fire is easier, right? Because you can at least convert that into anger. It's like, you know what? I hate you. You piss me off. Therefore, but speaking authentically from the heart like that, not easy. Not easy. Let's see that Four of Pentacles, please. Queen of Cups, death on 3 cups. There's something. Yeah, I said you squashing something. You squashing something. I don't even know that you have beef with this person. I'm just saying you squashing it. You ain't having it. You are not giving this bub kiss in terms of emotional distribution or emotional investment. You withdrew that, 4 of Pentacles. You started withdrawing that some time ago. Again, that time out. And here it is. You're saying, and you're asking yourself, Gemini, do we really want to emotionally connect to this anymore? You might have some damn strong Scorpio in your chart. The answer is nah. Nah, fam. We do not want to connect to this anymore. Who is this? I'm not even convinced it's a romantic partner. And if it is, it ain't good. I mean, oh my God. Wow. I mean, that's serious. Some of you pride yourselves on being very emotionally developed beings. And, you have to check in with yourself about the most difficult subjects. And you did that. You gave yourself the time and space to see how this no longer fits in your paradigm of emotional characters in your life, the ones that are meant to enrich you and support you and love you, and you do the same for them. You're saying this person has no space here. Oh my. Oh my. Do I dare look further at you, honey? Oh my. Look at that. Let's take a look at that King of Cups. I mean, I get that they're unhappy. I do. I still can't tell where one ended and one began, or who started the process. Perhaps it's somewhere between the two of you. They're over here very unhappy by that ending. And you're reflecting upon it as well, the King of Cups. It's a hard day when you tell someone you have no place in my world. You could have done. I wanted you to, but you don't. And it's for a variety of reasons, guys. It's never random. This stuff is never random. This was well thought out, well felt. You took full emotional responsibility for this. Let's see this King of Cups, please. The 9 of Wands, the Hierophant, the Hermit. You said you committing to this to try to heal it. You can't feel it. It's very strong. You have some very strong emotional constructs in you. Congratulations to you. I know to you, you probably hate it. I'm guessing. Nobody likes that much water when they have to make decisions like that because they're never comfortable. We will give people emotional chances. I mean, I'm saying there's no way you don't have some Scorpio in your chart. That level of emotional loyalty to this until you couldn't is quite high for you. So again, that really means having to be responsible and checking in with yourself. And how do I really feel about this? Because it seems to be quite a bit of grievance attached to it. I gave this chance after chance, opportunity after opportunity to shape up, to develop, to give back, to give more, to be nurturing, loving, and supportive, to be part or prove itself as being worthy of being part of my life. And I can't anymore. I keep saying I have to block it. And not only that, you're committed to the block. And you're saying only through the commitment to blocking this from my heart can maybe I can heal from it. And I believe you. But you're also saying, so that works both ways here. From the heart, you have to commit to blocking heart space to this, and therefore you commit to your own healing by not giving it any more of your emotionality. That's one side. The other side is that you cannot commit to healing with whatever this is. That means you've already tried. And now you started where once you made that 9 of Wands work against you, the repetition of behaviors, you're saying you're now going to make it work for you. And thus you're showing me perfect proof of what I tell everybody all the time. There are pros and cons to everything, even the most difficult cards. You can either make this work for you or against you. Okay? And I'm guessing once upon a time, you made this work against you. I'm committed to working through this from the heart. I'm committed to working. And then that energy started to flip. I got to commit to blocking this, and that's the only way I can heal. See how that works? At some point, you realized you were fighting a useless war yourself. And that it was better that you commit to yourself in healing by blocking this, instead of allowing it. Very good. I just want people, I know this is hard what I'm looking at. I want people to do what's right for them. And that means you have to make difficult decisions. especially when you don't want to. That's when you have to the most. You did it. You're doing it. You're going through it. Let's see your Seven of Wands. That's a very strong defensive position you've taken. You are adamant that you no longer have a place in my heart, if you ever did, because there's something about here with that reflection that's critical for you. With that Hanged Man and the Ten of Cups, I keep looking at you, and I keep seeing how you don't fit in my life. If you ever did. If you ever had a real authentic emotional response from my life, I don't know what it was. I just see how I allowed you license to be there, to take space in my heart, and at my cost. So, I mean, when we got in there and you're like, tell me how you really feel, you're like, oh, okay. Seven of Wands. And you really did. I'm not laughing at you. The strength of your own particular conviction is quite high. It's admirable, actually. This is what I see people lean away from all the time, really possessing those strong but honest emotions. It's easy to accept love when it's there. Okay. And it's positive and it's healthy. But what do you do when it's not? But you still love it to some way, to some capacity. And I still don't know what the hell this is to you. And maybe that was your point too. You don't know how they fit into your life, if they ever did. Like, just because I supported it in my heart doesn't mean it supported me back in its heart. See what I'm saying? Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it meant a lot to you. It really did. It meant a lot to you. And I know it with that. No wonder this decision was so hard. I get it. Two of Swords, Six of Cups, Strength. You really didn't want to have to do this. You're really loyal to the connection the way you are to yourself. But that doesn't mean it was loyal to you. Or that you ever understood its place in your life. It wouldn't harmonize. It wouldn't harmonize. It wouldn't let you into its emotional circle, or they wouldn't come into yours. Even though I can see that you kept your heart open towards them as long as you could. Until the point where you just couldn't. You said it caused you more harm to try. I believe you. So when somebody comes by knowledge like that, that means you earned it the hard way. I understand. I do. I promise you, I understand. Bless you, honey. Oh, she got the sneezes and the coughs today. She's right there with me. She's the pollen. The Seven of Wands. There's the blockage. You remain blind to this for a long time, and you still don't know. You say you feel strongly about this connection, but it doesn't seem to have a presence in your life that makes sense to you, or helps you, or gives back to you, or that it even cares about you the same way. You say you don't know, and that you kind of have to accept that you will never know. Oh my goodness. I know that sounds just awful. And you know what? I asked her, I know that sounds awful, guys. I know. You're like, is that a dog? Yeah, that's a dog. Let me tell you something. I talked to her vet about it. Trust me, after she had the kennel cough. She said, OPS, dogs are just, and I kind of knew this, but I didn't know to the extent of it. She goes, they're just as prone to pollen and allergies like humans. And I'm like, I already know what it's like for me. What would it be like for my dog? And she goes, whatever it is you experience. And I'm like, no, don't tell me that. Because I know what I experience, and what I experience is fucking awful. I am highly allergic to pollen. Specifically oak and cedar. Oak, cedar, and anything, really, that generates high volumes of pollen. Mm-hmm. And so apparently my baby is too. And we've had nothing but rain for the past 24 hours. The humidity's high, and that means the pollen's exploding right now. So, and all that to say, turns out, yeah, there is equivalent for Benadryl for dogs, and she gets that too. Pumpkin, poor Pumpkin. That means hers more off. Oh, so it's sneezing and hacking and coughing and everything else. Poor Pumpkin. Don't tell me that. It's like, don't tell me she's going to go through what I go through, because what I go through is god awful. Anyway, I know that sounds atrocious. She'll be okay. I promise. Okay. All right. I got you. So there it is. There's the confusion. I don't know. And I'm tired of trying to find out. I feel strongly about it, and it's all the more reason. Okay. Four of Cups, Death, Three of Swords. Well, they're very unhappy with the ending, I'm guessing now. I was wondering where the origin was. get you your medicines in a minute, honey. Okay, she hates it. I'm not in a rush to give it to her. She absolutely hates it. I had to work very hard to train her to take medicines. Let me tell you, there's a whole technique behind it. Let's see that 4 of Cups, please. Show me that 4 of Cups, show me that 4 of Cups, show me that 4 of Cups, show me that 4 of Cups. I understand that this person's unhappy. But you had a whole method behind it. I mean, I get your method, I really do. Because they refrained, 10 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, they were constantly putting themselves in a position where they were always kind of like on the outside looking in. They would never fully immerse into the life. They would never give more to it. 10 of Pentacles, that means the potential. They only show me what's possible, not what isn't. They could have put more into this, to stabilizing whatever this is with you. I can't see the context. And they wanted to with the 9 of Cups, but they kept ignoring their instinct to build and to solidify or stabilize whatever this connects, to expand. There is no 3D expansion, even though they could have. Okay, let me show this to you. Active refraining, okay? Active refraining to stability. Very a little immersion. It's actually very withholding, doesn't give too much. It could give more, but chose not to. To stabilize, to show up consistently in the 3D and say we're in each other's lives in some way that's consistent and can be accounted for. Actively refrained, giving more, doing more, building more, just giving more, anything. I want to feel so much more. Here's that person's potential. This is what they lived up to. Not giving as much, therefore perpetually unhappy. And this person had a pattern that could not be broken, not by you or how much you wanted it or tried to include them or asked for more. And this is, unfortunately, a very strong holding pattern, 4 and 4. 4 of Cups and the 4 of Pentacles. It takes a lot to break that. It wasn't your job either. So let's get that out of the way right now. That wasn't your job. They have to want it. This was their potential to fill, not yours. Let's make that clear. Here's the potential. Here's the absence of it. Here's what they could have done. This is what they chose to do. Choice is real. Don't forget it. And if you have as much water in your chart as I think you do, that means you're intuitive. And I have to tell this to water signs, specifically to Scorpio all the time. You can sense someone's potential, but it's not on you to make them feel it. You can't. So if this person's kind of kicking rocks, it's in that precious space we call hindsight. What we could have done versus what we allowed ourselves to do. Why do you think you hung back and took the time to make the decision you did before you ultimately blocked this and you had to insist on it? I don't see how you fit in. You don't seem to be a regular feature in my life who shows up consistently, emotionally or in the real world. I gave this situation person, this fool, as much time as I could possibly allow in order to understand their importance, and they seem to be determined to not be important in my life. It's almost like they went out of their way to be defined with it. I'm going to go out of my way to not be emotionally expanded with Gemini or build a 3D world with them. Why? Why? What was the point? It's like cutting your nose off to spite your face. Why did you do that? What kind of point were they by being purposely absent from everything that would have kept them in place? What was the point of that? Why haven't I seen the 5 of Swords for this person? Because that is some straight up self-sabotage when you don't... Here's what I could do. I'm not gonna. They brought this death upon themselves. They're not upset by the ending. They're upset by what they didn't do. And that's a lot. Let's see death, please. Right there at the heart of the reading. Show me death. Page of Swords, Seven of Wands, Six of Cups. Yeah, they reflect on you. They see your efforts to block them. They get it. They see that the Six of Cups is here. They understand that access has been denied. They don't contest that. They don't contest it so much that their energy's coming up as a little peep on the radar now. Sometimes they check in on you. They look at you, almost perhaps as a reflexive action of what they could have done or what they were supposed to do. But the lack of insight is still very, very small. They get that the connection's blocked, and it's almost like saying, well, if you block me, I'll block you. Do you understand the origin story of the block, or are you just playing tit for tat? Because I got news for them. Their block doesn't mean shit, and how you started it. You actually had real reasons. You had plenty of time to think about it, to feel about it, and who gave you that time? They did. By never solidifying their place in your world or allowing you in theirs. So, one begets the other. So they can go ahead and have that attitude while they check in on you and look at you from time to time. You block me, I'll block you. So we didn't learn too much, did we? I tell you, that shoulda, coulda, woulda hurts really hard at the end of the day. It hits different when you've been denied someone's access. I say this to people all the time. I know what you're showing me is a gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching decision that you didn't want to have to make, but it was based on experience and how it made you feel, which was bad. You cannot make someone give you what they're not willing to. They could have. They showed me this. They didn't. So let me tell you something about loss here, because you did it, and they're reflecting on it, even if it's in a small point of view. They lost you not because you were being an asshole, but because they did not freely give what they had the potential to give. That's why they feel small. It's because they gave small. It takes real insight to understand where you were lacking and where you should have stepped up or you needed to step away. They lost someone who genuinely loved them and didn't want to do this. You lost someone who didn't know what the hell they were doing. So you tell me who's got the greater loss at the end of the day. The one that has to enforce the decision or one who's on the receiving end of it. So I appreciate and respect very much, I promise you, what you went through. I get it. You're not going to be the one really who has to feel the consequences in the long term. If you can look at this situation and say, did I honestly do everything I could do before I did what I did? And if you can say yes, you're the one that's okay in the end. Okay? You're not jumping through hoops about it. You're not happy. You're not singing your own praises. I did it. I did it. And if you're that Gemini who's like, I blocked them, I'm not talking to you. This Gemini didn't want to do that. So, there you go. I don't know what your love was towards this person. All you could tell me was that they had no clear, definitive support role in your life that showed up consistently in a way that you could lean on and say, that's there for me. That was not allowed by this person's choice. Okay? You give little, you get little. You get what you get. King of Swords, Six of Swords, King of Wands. There they go. They're telling themselves, chin up. Move on. Doesn't mean anything. Yeah, shallow people typically give me shallow results. So there you go. I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying. They lost someone who genuinely loved them. You lost someone who is very small. You still did what was right for you, and that's all I care about. They miss you in as much as they allow themselves to see it. I don't want you to give this any more spiritual or emotional contemplation than you already have. Okay? The hard part's over. Let them go. They're so determined to move on, or it didn't mean anything. They can live with that. It will be false, but that's theirs to live with, not yours. Okay? I've moved on. Yeah. I'm sure you did. When you have the emotional depth of a teaspoon, it's very easy to move on, you know? I don't know why they didn't give more honey. I just know that they could have, and they chose not to. The repercussions of such is on them. Let's jump over to this moon, yeah? Show me that moon, please. Show me the moon. Show me the moon. Show me the moon, please. Show me that moon. I'm just saying, you get what you get. That's what I used to tell my kid when she was 5. 5, 6, 7. That's when kids want everything and they don't know how to choose. And that's when you as a parent who understands we got to move things forward and make decisions, and the kid has to learn consequences if they refuse to make choices, kind of like adults, okay, that didn't get the lesson, okay, because they were too busy being spoiled or shallow. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. You know why this person has that attitude? Fuck it. You block me, I'll block them. I've moved on. After all your emotional anguish, this is not your moon, darling. It's theirs. Page of Swords. You know why they look over their shoulder from time to time and they check in on you, and then they're like, well, I'm blocking them anyway. Guess what was under their moon? Everything. Like I said, they lost someone who really loved them. You lost someone who doesn't know what they lost. And is that someone you want to be connected to? Someone who doesn't understand what's at stake because they're too stupid or shallow to appreciate it. They had a big old opportunity and they fucked it up royally. Yeah. When you fuck up that bad on a new opportunity in love and in life, I bet we're going to keep that energy nice and small so we don't have to think about it too hard. Yeah, I wouldn't want to think about it either, and I'd probably have that same attitude. I'm not missing nothing. I'm moving on. Yeah, I'd have that same attitude. If I refused to develop, this is lack of insight by choice. If I refuse to see things as they are, just keep it under the moon. That's not a new opportunity. I can just take it for granted. I don't have to give it more. I'd have that same fucking attitude. You know why? It would be too unbearable to understand what I had fucked up. Peace be with them. May they go their own way. And they can grow up, but not on your time, honey, and not on your dime. Their lessons regarding equality in terms of love, being on the same page, wanting the same love, they can learn that on their own time, not yours. You did what you had to do. I don't blame you at all. I completely agree with your decision. I'm so sorry you had to get so emotionally twisted up about it. But if you hadn't done it, it would have been your lesson one way or the other in the end. Better to pay the bill sooner rather than later, you know, before you get overdue notices. Six of Pentacles. Let's take a look at that Six of Pentacles. The Sun, the Eight of Cups, the Three of Cups. Yeah, there's something here. We knew it, even though it felt good. Even though it felt good, here's you reminiscing and Maybe them too, but even though it felt good in the moment, the sun wouldn't sustain, and that's because someone kept showing up emotionally empty or thin or shallow once more. It's kind of like the surface level connectivity, the 3 cups over the 6 of pentacles, which, by the way, you can achieve that with anybody. Somebody wasn't fully showing up, despite the fact, we just felt the warmth of the sun, but whatever. Whatever, I could hang out with you, I could hang out with anybody. Yeah, keep telling yourself that, Jack. That'll serve you well in the end. Ace of Cups. Yep, no missed opportunities here. Nothing to see here. Move along. Okay. Ace of Cups. Let's see the Ace of Cups. Oh, I know the ones I put the most attitude in, I get the most attitude back. It's usually from people who identify as the other. And that's okay. It is what it is. It either resonates or it doesn't, I'm just, when I say someone's potential and they can't even meet it halfway, and then they wonder why they're missing out. We can't admit to ourselves we missed up this new opportunity bad. I'm just sorry you had to go through, like I said, all that emotional anguish, which they probably had no appreciation for. You can't appreciate. And if you wonder, by the way, did they know what I went through? No, they don't. In order to understand what it is you went through, in order to block them, to suppress them, they'd had to have some emotional investment that was somewhere near comparable to yours. That's why their insight is so small. They gave little to it, and then they wonder why things happened the way it did. So no. To answer your question, no, I promise you this person has no idea what you went through. They'd had to have been somewhere near your level to achieve that sense of empathy. No. They're not empathetic with what you did or how brave your decision was. They're thinking about, when they block me, I'll block them. Yeah, so, excuse me, my own sense of empathy is quite low. I despise... I can't. And I won't. Queen of Cups, Justice, the 9 of Wands. Good. Going back to your heart space and what's right for you. You say you have a very good measure in place. It's not perfect. Nobody is. And nobody's practiced sense of parameters and boundaries are ever perfect. All we can really do is kind of fine-tune against ourselves as we measure against ourselves. And you're saying when it comes to matters of the heart, the best that you can do is check in with yourself, as you did many times, and ask yourself honestly, is a situation fair? And if the answer is no, you block. If the answer is yes, you proceed. That's Gemini's process. I'm telling you, you have a damn strong water in your chart. Queen of Cups, it doesn't have to be an absolute. It's just you showed me so much of it today, I can't help but keep concluding that. Queen of Cups, Justice, and the 9 of Wands. As it concerns the heart space, love or otherwise, new love, renewed love, I don't care. You're saying if it's not fair, you're not having it. It's a rough translation, but it's honest, and it really backs up your process. Like I said, if you know that you're a fighter and you fight from the heart, you can either make that work for you or you can make it work against you. You're saying you often have to remember to make it work for you so it doesn't work against you. I can tell that even if you don't have water in your chart, you pride yourself on being emotionally loyal. And you tried to give this person ample room to find space for themselves, to be in your life or to be in theirs, ideally a fair exchange, and that wasn't happening. It's not your fault. It would have been your fault if you had allowed it to continue. Because they weren't opening up, they weren't making the space, so what befalls them is what befalls them. And I'm sorry. No, they have no clue, honey. They have no idea what you went through. In order to block it, their energy's too small. And if they had to get even near, close to admitting to themselves about how they missed this opportunity, oh my God. Well, that would just be too much to bear, wouldn't it? Nobody's going to want to admit to themselves that they shot themselves in the foot that bad. Nobody's going to do that. You know? Makes me wonder why the hell they came around to begin with. Why? What was the point? If they knew it was going to be a limited experience and they weren't going to complete, what was the point? Why'd they keep coming around, and why did you keep making space for them? I don't know. That's way back in your personal history with this person. I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that today. But still, what was the bloody point? Renewal, spark, interest. Let me keep you interested. Let me keep you interested. So there's the sense of renewal and the spark and continuously giving this thing hope and stuff like that. And until one day you couldn't. End of a cycle. Yeah. See, here's the idea. We kept it going as long as we could. But we reached the end of that particular cycle. That is the push and pull, the hot and cold, chase me today, leave me alone tomorrow, that kind of bullshit. So we put it into that particular cycle. There is no renewal here. There is no hope. Once you reached your top with this, when you reached your top with it, that's it. I would just... Why the hell? Celebration. But why the hell? What was the point? What was the point to being there at all? Wish fulfillment, celebration. Celebration, wish fulfillment, decisions. Ask yourself, 9 of Cups here, wish fulfillment. Well, this spoke to you in some way. Celebration is more like a 3 of Cups. Okay? Even though it might have felt celebratory sometimes, was it the same as wish fulfillment? I know. You had to make that decision. It felt good to connect with it when it could and when it was allowed to. But for the most part, it was more blockage and bullshit than anything else. You had to make that decision between, say, a 3 of Cups that you might have sometimes felt with this person, because you told me distinctly you will not connect with it anymore. Whatever limited experience this is, it's not worth it. It never reaches its potential. You had to choose between wish fulfillment and knowing that you love yourself, which is what the 9 of Cups is, versus basic, celebratory, easygoing connections, 3 of Cups. Okay. There is a soul bond here, but they often represent the most difficult choices or lessons. And you had to choose between loving yourself and knowing that, and continuing to connect with something that wouldn't meet you where you were or allow you in. There's that decision there. That's all they're showing me. This is one of the few times I want to know why. What was the point of this person trying to connect to you at all? What were they trying to achieve? Because by all rights, they were so busy withholding what they had. I don't know what their purpose was. Hopefully it goes beyond a lesson learned. And as small as their energy is, hopefully they'll learn theirs in time. I don't know. Regardless. I like your equation here at the end. If it's not fair, it will not stand. I think that's a good summary for you today. And just confirmation of where you are and what you've had to do. And I think you'll be okay in future too. Gemini, I hope this helped you. Put in the comments. Take care. Be well.